Welcome back to Four Wolves Takes. By now, you know the drill. Your boy Artis Woods, also known as AJ2K, will bring you 4 brand new takes. Now, I must admit, last week I came in, I recorded 4 Wolves Takes. And I also recorded Taxi Squad. And I felt great, felt amazing. Both shows went well. I went home, a ton of energy, ate my dinner with my lady, got into bed, still feeling amazing. Got some great rest. Woke up the next morning. Let's check out 4 Wolves Takes. It's out on YouTube. It's out. Let's check this thing out. I want to see the comments. I want to rewatch it, critique, whatever. You know, first comment I see. Karl-Anthony Towns is out. It's over. What is this? This guy must be out of the loop. Because last time I checked, Karl-Anthony Towns was going to miss the upcoming game because, you know, he had a knick-knack injury and he's icing up and he just needs a day off. Okay, that's last time I checked. That's what I heard. Okay, just ignore it. Then I got a text from a coworker. Shout out to Grant. Yo, Cat is out indefinitely at the time. Indefinitely. I don't believe you. I didn't respond to that. So Grant, when you see this, I'm sorry for publicly saying I didn't believe you. I did not believe you. But then I said, you know what? Grant isn't the type to lie. And this guy in the comment section that I don't know, why would he lie to? Let me just go check the news. And when I say the news, I'm talking about Twitter. I'm talking about X. The X is the news. So I'll go check the news. I scroll. Lo and behold, right at the top, Karl-Anthony Towns is out indefinitely with a meniscus tear. Didn't know what to say. Didn't know how to feel in the moment. Frustrating. Sad for Karl-Anthony Towns. Sad for the Wolves. It's like, man, this is tough. This is tough because we cannot deny Karl-Anthony Towns' impact on the basketball floor. He's having a great defensive season. He's playing great offensively. He's having a solid year. And is a big part of the reason why the Wolves are where they are. But the thing that frustrated me the most was the YouTube comments everywhere that I looked for content about the Wolves and the comments by the media, you know, the comments on Twitter and on Instagram and everybody saying the Wolves are done. They're cooked. It's over. And I'm like, all right, now let's at least wait and see. You know, sometimes indefinitely can mean a few weeks. It happens. You know, sometimes indefinitely could literally mean indefinitely. You know, let's just wait and see if Cat can come back. But let's also wait to see what the Wolves look like without Cat. This team has Anthony freaking Edwards. This team has Naz Reid. This team is well coached. This team still has pieces that can win some games and make a run. And lo and behold, this week proved just that. Now, again, you miss Cat. Not going to deny that. You miss Cat offensively, especially. But we saw some great games. We saw Anthony Edwards go absolutely berserk against the Pacers. I mean berserk, bucket after bucket in the fourth quarter. We just talked about the crunch time. Closing the Pacers out with a game-winning block like I've never seen. Man hit the floor. I'm like, thank God he got up and he was good. We saw Naz Reid explode. And going into my first take of today, we saw a sensational performance from Nah. This is huge, people. Nah went off. Nas did too, but Nah went off. We just witnessed Nas' best performance of the season. Nas' best performance of the season against the Clippers. Now, granted, yes, you know, Kawhi went out with some type of spasms. Team was down 22 at one point, came back and won by like 20. Sensational. Again, heart, grit. That's what the Wolves are about. That's what they are about, which is why I refuse to say they're done. That's why that's the thumbnail. They're not done. But Nah, specifically, 28 points, shooting 9 of 10 from the field. He also had a pretty good game against the Lakers. 15 points, 6 of 11 from the field. He's finding his groove. And the one thing I like about Nah, and it's the same thing with Jaden McDaniels, who I will get to in a hot second. The thing I like about him is no matter what, that defense going to be there. That defense going to be there. Oftentimes you see players in the league, just basketball players in general, when the shot is going, that's when the defense is at an all-time high. But when the shot is not going, when the offensive game is not there, then you see the defense kind of slack a little bit. It gets into players' heads. They're just not the same, right? That ain't Nah. And it ain't most of these players on this team. I mean, no matter what, that defense on the perimeter is going to be there. And Nah, because, you know, he was hot for a little bit, then he went a little cold, and now he's kicking it back up. Through all of that, the defense was there. So I love that from him. And I think this is big. Speaking of Jaden McDaniels, I think this is big because Jaden McDaniels is still struggling. He just is. He had a great breakout game, I felt like, against the Kings, and I thought that would start something, but it hasn't. He's missing clean looks. You know, he's getting his shot blocked. I mean, he's struggling. And it's at the point now where I believe Nah, with his defensive prowess and how he's now showing he can kind of kick it up in the absence of Cat, he's going to get some fourth quarter minutes in the playoffs. I mean, you might see a lineup when Cat is back where you have Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, Nah, Cat, and Rudy. And that might be a closing lineup, right? So this is big, not only for that reason, because he might be in the closing lineup, but this is also big from the standpoint of Naz Reid going off right now is kind of taking Karl-Anthony Towns' spot in place, you know, with him dealing with injury. As far as carrying offense, right? He's putting up buckets, but now you're kind of missing that extra punch off the bench. Now, technically, he's still coming off the bench, but your 1-2 punch was Anthony Edwards and Cat, and now your 1-2 punch is really Anthony Edwards and Naz Reid. Now you need that 3 or that 4. And Nah is showing maybe he could be that guy. Maybe he could be that guy to come off the bench and really come out here and ball out. So this is huge. This is huge. I'm not just going to gloss over his performance, especially defensively, but now offensively, he is finding his groove. He's getting it going, and this is big for the Wolves going forward into the postseason. Take number 2. I know Mike Conley is old, man. They crack jokes. You know, he's 40. Yeah, say what you want. Say what you want. The man is still a great, productive player in this league. He's great at what he does with his role with the Wolves. So my second take is Mike Conley needs to stay aggressive. Again, I understand he's older, and I understand that, you know, he might need some rest, and I get it. But I still care about the playoff seeding and the standings because they matter. I still believe that this team right now can stay afloat. I still do, and I'll get to that in a second. But I believe that Mike Conley is a big part of the reason why they can. Mike Conley, recent games, right? Against the Clippers, he went off for 23, shooting 9 of 15 from the field. 3 rebounds, 3 assists. They won the game. Against the Portland Trail Blazers, 19 points, 7 assists, shooting 6 of 13 from the field, right? They won that game. Against the Kings, 14 points, shooting 4 of 8 from the field, 8 assists. They lost that game. Against the Spurs, 16 points, 6 of 10 from the field. They won that game. And again, against Brooklyn, 14 points, shooting 5 of 10 from the field, a win. I just gave you 5 games where the Wolves, with Mike Conley playing and being aggressive, looking for his shot offensively, they won 4 out of the 5 games. And the one game they lost was to Sacramento. Freaking Malik Monk goes crazy in overtime. It happens. But I say that to say when Mike Conley is aggressive, the Wolves have a chance to beat anybody, and they need him right now to be aggressive, not only because of Karl-Anthony Towns' injury, but also because Monte Morris is also out right now. That's a big part of this. Now, when Monte is back, he could probably carry that load, and then maybe you can rest Mike Conley for a little bit. But as of right now, Mike Conley, while Monte is recovering from a hamstring, I believe, injury right now that's supposed to be day-to-day, we need Mike Conley to continue to put pressure on defenses, make shots from the outside, at least take shots from the outside. Sometimes I think he's a bit too passive, but I don't mind it. That's the point guard. That's the floor general. I just think at times, hey, go for your shot. Take the 3-point shot. Take the mid-range shot. Run the pick and roll how he normally does and come off looking to be aggressive instead of looking to be so passive because the Wolves need that offense right now. They just do. And when Mike Conley is playing great, they win. When he's playing bad, especially now without Cat and without Monte, it's tough. It's tough. So Mike Conley needs to stay aggressive, at least until Monte gets back. Then we could give him some rest because he's going to need some rest. We got to have him fresh for the playoffs. But until then, go crazy, Mike. Go crazy. We love what we just saw. Go crazy. Keep that up. Keep balling. Take number 3 for the day. The Wolves defense. will keep them afloat. Yes, I just talked about how I think they'll stay afloat, right? I think this is the biggest reason why they'll stay afloat. Yes, Anthony Edwards is playing sensational basketball. Just talked about how Naz Reid is playing sensational basketball. Mike Conley pitching in, pitching in. But the defense ain't changed to my eye. To my eye. The defense is still balling out. They held the Clippers to 100 points. They held the Cavs to 97 points in regulation. And they held the Pacers to 111. This defense is playing still at a level that says they can go out here and still dominate. They can come out here and still single-handedly win you a basketball game, right? When the offense is struggling, the one thing you can depend on is that defense. And when that defense is there, playing at the level that the Wolves defense is playing at, all bets are off. That's why I think they can stay afloat. Great defense travels. They're on a road trip right now. It's traveling and it's playing well. Cat, you in a way kind of miss him defensively. Sometimes you miss him on the boards. Don't get me started on the Laker game where Rudy was not able to play and no Cat. And it's like you kind of went into that game kind of knowing how that was going to go. Anthony Davis goes off, has a historic day. It is what it is. When guys are on the floor, it's a different conversation, right? But with Rudy out there, defense is there. Anthony Edwards locking stuff down on the perimeter. We just saw the defense he put on Paul George. We all saw it. And then I already talked about and Mike Conley's still there. I mean, Jaden McDaniels, even though struggling offensively, still playing great defensively. That defense will keep them afloat. Another reason why I'm not hitting the panic button, and I'm saying the Wolves, they're still there. We're right here. We're right here. We're not going nowhere. We are right here. Last take of the day. March 19th marks the biggest game of the season. It's the biggest game of the season. I know some people are like kind of chalking this up already as a L. Oh, yeah, it's no Cat. You're going up against maybe the best team in the league right now, the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets actually, from my understanding, had a trip to the White House scheduled and canceled the trip. Said, no, we got to be ready for this Wolves game because it has major implications on standings. They understand the importance of finishing higher than the Wolves and preferably in the number one seed. They get that. They understand that. They're the defending champs. I think the Wolves have the same understanding and should go into this game understanding that this is a must win. I'm not saying if you lose it, it's doomsday, but this game should be treated like it is a must win game for the Wolves. Some numbers to throw at you guys. The Nuggets right now at home, 27-6. On the road, they're 18-14. So you can get those guys on the road and have home court advantage over them. You have a much better chance at beating them later down the line in the postseason if you match up. Another thing to throw out there, the Wolves have already beaten them once. You got to see them 3 more times. The next game, March 19th, that game is at home. It's the last home game you got against the Nuggets, which is why I'm saying that game is the must win. It's going to be tough winning out there in Denver. That altitude is crazy. It's going to be tough. Not going to lie. But you got them in Minnesota first. If you can win that game, even if you end up splitting with them with the season for the season series going 2-2, if you manage to finish with the same record and you split with them, the next tiebreaker goes to division record. The Wolves have a 9-2 division record. The Denver Nuggets, the defending champs, the team that I believe pretty much everybody is nationally recognizing as the best team in basketball, their division record, 6-5. That's why this is a must win. That's why this is a must. You are still in position to finish higher than the Denver Nuggets, to at least tie and have home court advantage. And I am not, again, ready to pack it in without Karl-Anthony Towns. This team has too much heart, too much grit, and I believe they have potential to go in there at home and beat the Denver Nuggets. Guys got to play lights out basketball, but it ain't like we ain't seen that so far without Cat. So that concludes today's episode. Y'all, listen. People gonna say what they gonna say. People gonna believe what they gonna believe. But I'm here to tell y'all one last time, man, it ain't over till it's over. Heart, grit, Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, great coaching, Mike Conley. They have all the pieces they need to stay afloat, stay relevant. And I believe they will. This is not doomsday. This is just the start of a time where if they persevere, they'll prove they are really who we think they are. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to 4 Wolves Take today. I will catch you on next week's episode.